Well, hello everybody. This is me. Yo, it's me. I just want to apologize to everybody there. I do understand that. So, there were people that were waiting for updates. They were waiting for more reviews, anime reviews, TV show reviews, film reviews to come out. I do apologize that these things did not come out in the past few days. Reason why is because I have been sick since this weekend, this past weekend. I have been sick with the flu. It's only that today I actually have the strength to actually do a video, okay, and upload it for you guys. I do apologize. Even I was thinking, like, as I was sick laying in bed, I'm like, oh my gosh, like, I'm losing days, and so I just decided I'm going to take the days and I'm going to watch a few things, and then I'll be able to do reviews on that when I do have the strength, which is basically now today. Obviously, we're going to be carrying on with everything from there just to catch up with what we missed out. But for everybody that was waiting, thank you so much. I do apologize for keeping you guys waiting. And for those of you that weren't waiting, thank you. Now you don't have to wait. Okay, so let's not take too long. We're going to go into the review of the third episode of Alien Earth, okay, Season 1. So let's go into that third episode. So the third episode starts or continues from when Joe was kidnapped by the alien, and Wendy chases after the alien and her brother while leaving the other synth, the Indian one, okay, at the storage location with the xenomorph eggs. And this is where Smee, the African American xenomorph, the African American synth, meets up with him, because remember, he was sent to go meet, and he did make it, but obviously not when Wendy was there. So he meets up with the other synth, and they're both like kids. So they carry on to their own conversation, like, dude, you should have seen that. I was like, no, dude, you should have seen. That's actually when the android, which they are calling the cyborg now, the cyborg appears and, sticks him up with a gun. And he speaks to them weirdly. He tries to find out exactly who they are and what they are. Because they actually say, they kind of like giving the game away that they are not ordinary synths. Which I think in the story of Alien Earth, they need to keep a secret, okay? They need to keep that a secret. So they shouldn't let anybody else know that they are child minds in grown-up synth bodies. But Morrow, the cyborg's name is Morrow, he seems to be pretty interested in exactly who they are. But anyway, okay? Moving on from there, he speaks to them, asking them questions. That's actually when the Timothy dude, I forgot the name of his character, but he's the synth with the white hair. Okay, he's the eldest one. He's not like them basically. He comes up, he confronts the Morrow, the cyborg, and he basically pushes Morrow out of the ship. Not like physically, but Morrow sees like it's a danger to actually be around them with him there. So he decides to leave the ship and he jumps through the hole in the ship, okay? Where the eggs were. So he escapes, okay? Wendy, though, is in another section of the ship, or the building, which looks like a storage section, where Joe has been pinned to the wall by the xenomorph, and it appears the xenomorph is patrolling the area where Joe is being kept. Which is kind of weird. Joe is like actually stuck to the wall, like it's been waxed, like... the xenomorph spat on his arm and is like stuck there. It's disgusting. So Wendy finally gets her brother out, and from what it seems like, the xenomorph finally appears in front of Wendy and Joe, and it seems like they have to fight. Okay, so Wendy and Joe finally do trap the xenomorph until Wendy is suddenly pulled into the room where they were about to trap the xenomorph, and Wendy then goes into a fist fight with the xenomorph, and apparently it sounds like she's losing and all of that stuff. But when Joe finally lifts up the door, we see that Wendy has actually won. She has ripped the head of the xenomorph. First time we've seen anybody in the Alien franchise ever do that, and Wendy is the first one to do that. But she doesn't come away unscathed. White milk, which is supposed to be the fluid for the synths, starts dripping from her head, and she collapses. Joe then goes to her, shouting, "Wendy, Wendy!" But then he also succumbs to his injuries, because remember, he was also fighting the xenomorph. How he survived, I don't know. Okay? But he then falls unconscious as well. So both family members drift into unconsciousness. The rescue team are able to retrieve both of them and the alien specimens too. Everyone and everything is then transported to the secret island Neverland. Both Wendy and Joe are then put into intensive care, and the alien specimens are kept under close observation and locked down. I'm glad that they locked it down, because who would want to have these alien specimens escape again? Okay? We do not want any of that. Oh my gosh. I'm looking at the trailer, and I saw that sheep was like, the sheep has like blood here, which only means one thing: the eye alien. Oh, dude, that is weird. Okay. So, meanwhile, while everyone is basically busy with their own activities, this is now after the whole fiasco. Cool, everybody's back on Neverland. Cool, cool, cool. Maro the cyborg is somewhere on the Earth, okay? He makes a call to his headquarters, which is Weyland Yutani, and is then asked by the current head of the corporation to come in and come home from his mission. But Maro the cyborg then refuses to do so, as the alien specimens are his mission and his life's work, so he will bring them back to the company, life or death, because apparently this one mission took about 70 odd years, from what I heard. 70 odd years. So everybody that Maro knew on home base, even the fact that he was talking to the head of the corporation, he was actually that is obviously, that woman is the descendant of the previous woman who was the head of the corporation. Because she says in a conversation, "Oh, that was my grandmother. I'm the new head of the corporation. So this is the new girl that was grown up, blah, 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 75 years later. You now the head of the corporation." Cool, cool, cool. For Maro, like, this is his life's work. Basically, everybody that he knew on that planet, which he was with, is basically dead. All his friends and all of that stuff. It's been 75 years, so there's nothing else that he suspects is left for him there. Only this mission, and that is what he's going to do, and he's going to try and bring these aliens back. Life or death, basically, okay? So here is a fact, though, okay? The company, we are talking about Prodigy. Prodigy is the company that owns Earth. Prodigy is the company that owns the synths that we see in the show, okay? The company can see through the retinal cameras of the synths. Yeah, we can basically see it in episodes 1 and 2, okay? The synths, to the synths, they only think that it's the eyes. They don't know it's cameras at the same time, okay? But the company can see what they see. And when the synths find out about this fact, they don't really understand it. And they don't really accept that it's okay for the company to do this, even if it is them, even if they are company product, but they are company product nonetheless, okay? I just think it's cool that the company can record what the synths can see through the eyes, or through their retinal cameras, basically. The company's retinal cameras to the synths' eyes. And I find it's actually pretty cool that they can record whatever is being seen by the synths, which at the same time is kind of weird, you know, personally, you know, personal things might be weird, but at the same time it's kind of cool that they can actually do that. So, Maro the cyborg does find a way to contact one of the synths, the child synths, on a communication device, and tries to get information out of him, but also tries to persuade the synth to kind of become familiar with him, in a sense. It sounds very weird. But Maro wants to act as a friend of the synth, okay, in order to find out where the specimens are being held, and also how to access these sites where the specimens are being held. And this is actually what Maro is trying to find out, okay? And because he had a conversation with this synth and the other one back in the ship, they seem like an easy target for Maro. And that's what Maro is actually doing right now. He's going to push until he can get as much information as he can. He's probably going to be very, very cunning about how he's going to do this. And until he can finally complete his objective, he's going to come at them in many different ways. And one of the ways he's chosen so far, what we can see in episode 3, is to become familiar with him. Become kind of like a friend, you know? Someone that they can talk to. Which is kind of scary because they are still kind of like kids, in a way, you know? But we'll have to see how far that goes. So I guess that motto is kind of being like a child predator. Yeah, kind of being like a child predator towards the child synth. Because Moro does know that the synths that he met aren't normal like other synths, or even as experienced as other synths or androids are. I'm sure he's already deduced that, like, I'm sure he knows that they seem like kids, they don't seem like normal synths. Which means there's a weakness there, okay? It's just weird because the synth still acts like a child, like Smee and the others, and we're obviously going to see childish decisions come from them, which will be made during the course of this season. That's what we're going to see. We don't know if these synths are even going to get a a build to the character. It's a lot of characters, but I don't think we're going to be able to even. I don't think they're going to put. Some of the sons do act like they are not kids, but the rest they just act like the kids. And those two specifically, Smee and the other one. So Cavalier tasked the sons with to run a few experiments with the alien specimens, and you get to see blood, animals used for testing, and a whole lot of other things too. So it's not exciting. It's suspenseful. Uh, this part of the episode and is very exciting. Not exciting, sorry. It's not exciting. This part of the episode is not exciting. It's suspenseful. Okay, it's a suspenseful part because of what they're doing, and it's a very insightful part as well because you get to see that the Sins are also taking their part in this as well. Okay, as this is almost what they are meant for. Okay, things that humans cannot do. And they also do a few experiments with the alien eggs as well, and it kind of triggers a few senses in Wendy's mind on a or in her hearing, okay? Because she can actually hear the aliens, or the xenomorph, or the face huggers, okay, during the experiments, okay? And it sounds weird, I know, but that's what happens, and then Wendy just collapses out of nowhere. From what? I don't know, because she's hearing sounds of the aliens. She can hear xenomorph sounds, like they're calling for. I don't know what they. I don't speak xenomorph, okay? But she collapses because she can't handle what she's hearing. Boom! Soon as she collapses, cue the rock music that is produced by Metallica. Okay, it's not a bad song, but it just doesn't fit with the whole alien Earth vibe. To be honest, okay, this episode was very quiet, and you have to keep an ever watchful eye to it. Okay, this is an episode where it's not about the dialogue, but about the actions that everyone's doing and what's really going on in their minds right now. And what is this all building up to is my question. And I think, obviously, with that, we'll only get to be able to see that later on in the season. But don't forget to tune into my channel for more content. Okay, subscribe to it and leave a like and comment on the videos. And I want to hear from you guys and what you think of the shows. But take care, and I will see you again.